the Bears and just the game plan, I guess, not that you're going to devote the game plan, but just what do you need to do on the road? And it's an interesting time, too. It's an afternoon game in Chicago.
Yeah, Craig. I mean, obviously, there could be elements playing in the Windy City in December. Looks decent to forecast, but it changes every 13 seconds, so we'll see. But we'll get our guys ready to go with that. This team's playing really good right now. If you look at their last, however many games, they're probably a couple plays away from being 6-0 in their last 6 games. They got their defense they don't give up explosives. They take the ball away. Offensively, they got multiple weapons, how they deploy them. Quarterback obviously has a multiple skill set. He's playing extremely well right now. They got guys on the perimeter, a good tight end. And then teams, they do some different things that challenges your rules and adjustments and your technique. So we're going to have to play, sound football, winning football, all 3 phases to have a chance to win.
We asked Coach Johnson Jr. about the first game against the Niners week 4 versus this last week, and he said his film is totally different, like it's improved a lot. Would you agree with that over the course of the season? Where do you think he's made the most improvement?
Yeah, I think just his technique, you know what I mean? And I call it accelerated vision, but the games, he's not sped up, it's slowing down for him. He's starting to see different looks a little bit quicker, getting his technique a little bit quicker. He's blocked some really, really good players. He's a guy, I think, that probably what he means by that is when he gets his grade back early in the year, it's probably he wants to be a little bit better, and he's been going like that throughout the year. So started every game for us, hasn't missed a lot of time, no time, I don't think. He's doing a really good job.
What's the plan for Hollywood this week? And as of now, do you anticipate him playing Sunday?
Yeah, we'll see how the week goes. So we might have to adjust it a little bit, but need him to be healthy to help us win.
With the elements you referred to in Chicago, will that have any impact on what the weather's like in terms of Hollywood being out there?
No, the elements won't have an impact on any of our guys go. If they can go and help us win the game, they'll go.
If Swaim can't go, I mean, he's obviously carved out a nice role in terms of blocking. How do you adjust for that with the tight ends that you already have? Do you feel
Yeah, I mean, obviously feel good about Trey and Higgy, and then, we got Blake ready to go. I know Psycho's here. We might add some pieces, but we'll see how that goes. But who's ever out there will be ready to roll.
How is Swain feeling?
He's doing okay. We'll see how the week goes here. You know what? Actually, I'm not quite sure on that. He might not be able to go, so might not be able to go.
Facing another coach.
Still kind of evaluating that. I know it's normally 2 days, but it's with that one, with his particular case, kind of still evaluating that, see where it goes today. Sorry.
No, you're good. Another coach that you have kind of a previous relationship, Eberflus. Is this just a product of coaching for 15 years in the NFL that you seemingly every other week?
Flu. Yeah. I mean, somebody asked him about him the other day. Obviously, one of my biggest mentors. People say, describe Flu for us. And I would say the first thing that comes to my mind that I saw for 3 years working for him, he was a coordinator, I was a DB coach, elite leadership skills. I learned so much about, how to practice, player management, what's important, how to get guys to hit their ceiling. Schematics were completely different for me, which we use a lot of those things now. The way you play the game, how you measure that, how you hold guys accountable. That's why I told our guys in there today, it's not surprising at all that team has done this, because that's when I was with him for 3 years. As our defense, as he was the defensive coordinator, our defense always just went like that for 3 years. Started kind of somewhere, and then as the year went on, we got better and better and better. I think that's honestly a product of him and how he has people operate in his building. Obviously can't say enough good things about him. It'll be good to see him. He's a great man. His family's fantastic. They've helped me a ton. So it'll be good to see him. But he's a head coach for a reason. Like, he's one of those guys.
What's it like going up against guys like that who you have history with them? Do you have any extra incentive?
No, it's the Chicago Bears versus the Arizona Cardinals. We'll say our pleasantries. It'll be good to see him. I'll give him a hug, catch up real quick, but then it's compete. So, and that's how he is too.
How about also facing somebody like TJ Edwards that you were able to
Yeah.
kind of take from undrafted free agent to pretty good
Yeah,
player?
I mean, TJ's playing good for him right now. There's a reason they went and acquired him in free agency when, from Philly the couple of years there, and he's playing good. He's starting in there. Impacts the game. Everything that TJ stands for as a player and a person, that's exactly what Flu wants in his building. So that's why they acquired him. That was a good acquisition for them. Fits perfectly in what they do, how he wants to operate. And I know TJ's close to home too, but yeah, he's playing really good ball. TJ is fantastic. I mean, being around him for the 2 years that I was around him, that's when you say football character, that guy comes to mind.
In general, when you're preparing for a game that can have bad weather,
Mm-hmm.
does that affect when you're game planning because you're pretty aggressive when it comes to fourth down, or if Matt Prater wants to do a long kick, does that go into the game plan?
Yeah, absolutely. And then during the game it does too. We've been in a game like that with Pittsburgh, outdoor, East Coast, weather, and that definitely affects how we play all three phases and decision-making of game management. So we'll have some things set up, and then you got to be able to adjust on the fly quickly. But really good question, Danny. That 100% it does. The wind, the sun, the rain, the field, all that stuff goes in. The score, where we got the ball. Go for it. Drew was there. Are you kidding me? Go for it. No, that's not how it goes. That sounds terrible. No.
Prater's been around and played so many places. I mean, do you rely on him too when it comes
Yeah,
to...
I do. Him and Jeff communicate to me extremely well. As before the game, as the game's going on right now, how we're kind of setting those things up. Congrats to Matt Prater, you guys. I think it slipped on your 15th all-time leading scorer in the NFL right now. Did you guys know that? He's obviously a huge asset to our team. But, I'll lean heavily on him. And he's played in that division for a long time, so he knows that stadium, Soldier Field.
Your ability to kick from 50 plus, what does that do to the play calling, the risk taking?
A lot. Yeah, I mean, when you know that you're banking on where he's, good from and where I feel really comfortable putting points on the board, that definitely goes into it. The play against San Francisco, you say, third and 22, you throw a check down. That was a really good play to me. Gets to the 40, Trey breaks a tackle, gets to the 40. That was the line in that particular spot for us, and he bangs it through. And, that cut the lead, I think, 14-10. I think that's huge. You know what I mean? Not a lot of people have that type of a guy where you feel really good about. There's one thing to say, hey, let's try a long field goal, but there's another thing to, put the field goal team out there and know they're going to come away with 3 points. It's a complete different thing. So, man, I'm glad we have him.
Who's Trey McBride at in blocking?
Excellent. Did you see the long run by James? Yeah, that was excellent. But then that's the consistency of what we're looking for, Trey. That's something that he's been working hard on. I think Paul asked me, is he kind of a pass-catching tight end? No, he is not. I mean, he is that, but he's a complete player. You know what I mean? He really is. But I think to take, in his mind, he would tell you this, to take the next step of being a completely dominant player at that spot, I think he wants that to be a little more consistent. But he does an excellent job in there with that, improves every week. He's hard on himself. He's probably his biggest critic on that. But definitely an asset for us to be able to run and pass and impact, different plays like he can.
The goal of having a team ascend, as you pointed out, for other situations through the season and improving. Despite the record, do you feel you've seen that overall?
I have. I really have. I mean, and there's some things that, coming out, the whole bye, right? We kind of self-scout ourselves every week. And there's been things throughout the year that collectively we said we have to do a couple of these things better. Like this has to show up next week, then the week after, and the week after. And I think some of those things have showed up. Now you always got to make sure that then there's other things that pop up. So you just want to truly consistently play good, clean football, solid football, especially this time of year. And knowing the challenge of that is you got some different guys in, some guys are nicked, you're playing different teams, obviously, like everybody has those challenges, but I think that's a true barometer of where you're at, and if you feel good about trying to win the game is, are we doing that? And I think our guys have done a good job with it.
Given last week and the potential weather that you guys could be running into, how much more emphasis is there on ball security?
Yeah, I would say I don't know if I can put much more emphasis on ball security. But yes, we do. And knowing that this team, when they win the takeaway battle, I think they're 6 or 4-0. When they lose the takeaway battle, I think they're 1 something. So, certain teams can overcome it, but that's a winning stat for a reason. We lost it 2-0 last game, and you lose the game, And we've overcome it at times, but our wins were typically in the positive with that. So huge emphasis, and knowing that this team takes it away. That's how they win games. They steal possessions. They stop possessions by taking it away. Those are big plays, momentum plays, in a game that can be a tipping point, turning point in the game, which we got to do a really good job of.
When you're looking at fumbles in particular, your own guys' fumbles, do you look at the ones that are the handoff doesn't go well and it's on the ground, as opposed to somebody coming and punching it?
100%. Yeah, we coach all of that stuff. If a ball's on the ground, I am not happy. So why is the ball on the ground, and what do we got to do to correct it? And are we coaching it the right way? Do the players understand it? What we're coaching, the details of that. Practice is huge with that. If you're on air, it doesn't matter. That has to be 100% clean all the time. You practice how you play. So we're constantly on those details, and we've done a pretty good job of it. But it can always be better in my mind.
Bears added Montez Sweat, and there's been a before and after effect with all their numbers, and it's really taken that defense to the next level.
Premium player.
Yeah. How does that trickle down in defense if you add that position, a guy at that edge rusher spot?
I think what trickles down to a defense is adding a really good premium player to your defense. So not just that spot, any spot, truthfully. So, but this guy can really impact the game in the run and pass game. Obviously, they acquired him for a reason and paid him what they paid him. That's the going rate for those guys, and he's producing for them.